So today I'm going to cook beef stew, but this time in the slow cooker. And so I've got 700 grams of diced Herefordshire beef, 1 large onion, 2 celery sticks, 2 bay leaves, 2 cloves of garlic, about 225 grams of carrots and about 225 grams of swede, 1 stock cube and half a pint of boiling water to make the beef stock, half a pint of red wine, 1 tablespoon of tomato puree, 2 tablespoons of plain flour, and a teaspoon of mixed herbs, some squiggly pepper and a bit of salt. And that's most of it, I think. So now I'm going to cut the swede up, having first peeled it, and chop it into about 2 centimetre cubes. And I'll peel and similarly dice the carrots and just trim the celery sticks and just cut them into about 1 centimetre chunks. And I'll just peel and chop the onion up. Don't think the onion has to be cut that finely, but it'll be a bit more of a rustic dish this. Whilst you're prepping the veg, just pop the slow cooker onto a low setting just to warm the liner of the slow cooker ready for use, and then you can go on and prepare your veg and fry off the beef. So those are all peeled and chopped up nicely. Don't need to peel the celery, just take off the dodgy end or dodgy ends if there are dodgy ends, and then just chop it up. 2 bay leaves are there in the corner and a couple of cloves of garlic ready for squishing a bit later on. Just added 2 tablespoons of olive oil to the pan on high heat, and once it's hot, I've just added the first batch of beef, and I'm just going to stir those and turn them with the spatulas, and then I'll add in the next batch. The edges of the diced beef are now browning up, so I'm going to add the sliced onion and cook for about 5 minutes or so. Once again, still on high heat. So we'll just mix those in and cook them for 5 minutes. Now just mixing in 2 tablespoons of plain flour. I'm now going to use my clever little garlic press to crush 2 cloves of garlic. I'll scrape the last bit off there into the pan. So we've now mixed the flour and garlic in. We're now going to add half a pint of red wine and half a pint of hot beef stock. I'll just put 1 stock cube into a measuring jug and add half a pint of boiling water. Mix it up and pop it in the pan. So we've now added in the half pint of hot beef stock and red wine. Just a cheap red wine will do fine. Now we're going to add the bay leaves and the tablespoon of tomato puree, and then salt and pepper and a teaspoonful of mixed herbs. Now got our tablespoon of tomato puree and 2 bay leaves and a teaspoonful of mixed herbs. I'm just going to mix all that in and then add in the celery, carrots and swede, and we're just going to bring that all up to a boil, and then we're ready to pop it into the slow cooker. So I've seasoned that with salt and pepper. I've added a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, as we say in Herefordshire, which is near Worcestershire, UK. And so then we're now going to, it's just bubbling away, so we're now going to transfer that to the slow cooker, which we've preheated. So we're then just going to put the slow cooker on to a low setting and cook that for about 7 to 9 hours. Doesn't have to be that precise, but maybe check it after 7 hours and see what it tastes like. And you can always adjust the seasoning then. And then at that point, you could add in your horseradish dumplings or your plain dumplings, and just sit those on top of the stew and cover it, and then put it back on for about another 45 minutes, and then your dumplings will also be cooked. Pop it all in the slow cooker pot that you've previously heated, and then pop it in the slow cooker casing to heat on low setting for about between 7 and 9 hours. Just check it after about 7 hours. Then you can pop in your dumplings on top if you want to, and then just cook them for about another 45 minutes with the lid on. If you decide to put your dumplings in a little bit later on during the cooking process, put the cooker up to the high setting, and then they'll cook better.